Alright, what's going on guys? It's Epoxy, and today we have a good amount of awesome new information for Cyberpunk 2077, including a first look at the Santo Domingo district, a detailed look at Yorinobu, as well as a teaser at some of the other newly revealed characters, CD Projekt Red's response to a game demo, some newly released info from the World of Cyberpunk art book, and more. So sit back and get pumped for the latest on Cyberpunk 2077. Now, before we dive into all of this information for today, here's a brief look at the new GameStar cover for Cyberpunk 2077. And just as Redek put it, this cover is lit. Now, with that amazing art showcase out of the way, it's time for another info dump for Cyberpunk 2077. Let's begin with Santo Domingo, one of Night City's oldest districts. Corporations use it as a testing ground for industrial projects, destroying old factories just to build new ones, while residents scrape a desperate living in crowded mega buildings, wishing for something better. Santo Domingo hosts both the Arroyo and Rancho Coronado locations, but as of right now, we know of no gangs that control this area of Night City. We know there is a presence of corpos, and that this location is quite run down, but is that enough to deter all gangs from having any presence here, or is CD Projekt Red hiding something? We'll have to wait and see until we get more official info. Until then, we have what definitely looks to be an in-game screenshot of Santo Domingo, which from my recollection is our very first in-game look at this district. And I can say for myself, this doesn't exactly look like a place I'll be wanting to stick around in for very long. It is very dark and dated in contrast to what we've seen so far from Night City. Variety in districts like this will keep things fresh and more real, but I still don't see myself spending much time here. While I can't see any sign of gangs in the area by scanning this image, there is definitely a lot of AVs flying around, and this is clearly the industrial district of Night City. I think the fact that CD Projekt Red has essentially been keeping entire districts hidden to the public just lets you know how much there is to know about this game. There are entire parts of the map that people know very little about. Prominent characters like Takamura, who is so important in the game that he's justified having his own merch before even being revealed. And we've essentially seen nothing of the latest updates to large parts of the game, such as character creation, perks, and so on. There's a lot that we don't know about this game, and that truly interests me. Now, there is a character that we have received more information on. Yorinobu, heir to the Arasaka Empire, is Sabaru Arasaka's youngest and only surviving son. Yorinobu cut ties with his father after a heated argument. He sought destruction, but soon realized that the corporate giant's power was impossible to defeat, at least from the outside. So he sounds like he wants to take down Arasaka from the inside out, but the question is, will he just be another backstabber in Cyberpunk 2077? Let me know your predictions down in the comments. Next, let's take another look back at the Game Informer Cyberpunk AR cover, where we can actually catch the names of yet another two new characters. Marco Constantine, the bartender, and Ruben Yisla, the guy in the back, both with an unknown affiliation. Whether or not they will be important in Cyberpunk 2077 or just side characters is unknown for now, but it's always interesting to add a few more names to the roster of unique characters we'll be coming across in Night City. Now, something very interesting is the World of Cyberpunk 2077 preview for the Korean pre-order, which gave us a tease of a few more pages in the art book. While a lot of these pages don't include much of value, some of them offer some interesting looks at unseen concept art and some minor new details for the game. We also got a look at some of the quality adverts we can come to expect in Night City. Not very PG either. Unfortunately, a lot of the text is illegible. And no, I'm not saying that because of it being Korean. It's just that pixelated, which makes me feel that these were released on purpose, but they didn't want you to be able to read the entire pages. Thankfully, a Reddit user by the name of Jack went through the efforts of upscaling these images to give us a clearer look at some of the arts, such as the one for the Voodoo Boys, Valentinos, the Mocks, and some of the adverts. On one of the pages, we also got a list of the weapon manufacturers in the game, which consists of the following: Arasaka, Tsunami Arms, Kang Tao, Militech, Malorian Arms, Constitutional Arms, Nakoda, Dara Polytechnic, Rostovic, Budget Arms, and then 2 manufacturers we don't have any info on as of yet, and until we get more info, I don't really want to try and strain my eyes again reading their pixelated names. Either way, just another idea of how much more there is to know about this game. There are 2 entirely unknown weapon manufacturers, and then one of the ones that I listed off we also haven't even seen a weapon for, that being Nakoda, and we only saw this during the Nomad prologue within the gameplay that was released recently. So we don't know any details about this manufacturer. So you could technically say there's 3 weapon manufacturers we haven't seen anything for. We had also caught a very small glimpse of a part of the map with labeled districts, which allowed the users of Reddit to make an updated map with more details than we used to have. We've also had a Reddit user label the entire map with which gangs are known to be in said locations, that being the Animals and Voodoo Boys in Pacifica. Apparently nobody so far in Santo Domingo, both 6th Street and Valentino's sharing Haywood, Tiger Claws being in Japantown, and also sharing Watson with the Maelstrom and the Mox. And that's just the information that we have so far. So this is a lot of information just from the last few days. And while that's it for all the new information on the game itself, we should also address CD Projekt Red's response to a potential game demo. And it's not what you want to hear, but it's what you need to hear. In response to someone asking on Twitter if the game would receive a playable demo, CD Projekt Red responded with the following tweet. Unfortunately, not. Creating a playable demo for public requires a lot of resources and testing. And just to make it very clear, that's not just complete BS, by the way. In fact, that's a major reason game demos are practically non-existent anymore. Essentially, it takes away a lot of resources to create a proper gameplay demo for a AAA game. It's just not very viable anymore due to the scale of games nowadays. Which, if you've ever experienced a patch of a game breaking more things than it fixes, you should be able to understand why ripping out a load of the game is more complicated than it may at first seem. Video games aren't built in tiny little chunks where it's easy to just pull one chunk out and make it a demo. Games nowadays are like massive interweaved webs where just everything is connected. So just cutting out a tiny chunk isn't as simple as it might seem. And before anyone makes the suggestion of just releasing the full game with in-game limitations, such as a time limit or blocking off parts of the world, sadly that isn't very viable today either, as we have data mining, hacking, and glitches. So just overall, it's not really worth it for them. To put it simply, releasing a short demo for Cyberpunk 2077 would take a lot of time and resources away from the development of the game itself. So if they were to go through the effort of releasing a demo before release, that would just do more damage than good. And at this point, it would be the choice of having the game get delayed again just to receive a demo, or waiting for release. I'd rather just wait for release, but that's just my opinion. Anyways, I'd love to hear your thoughts on everything discussed here in this video in the comment section below. But that's it for this video. I hope you all enjoyed. If you did, please smack that like button down below, subscribe to The Good Fight if you haven't already, and ring that bell icon to stay updated in all of my future videos. It'd be super greatly appreciated as always. And until next time, this is Epoxy signing off.